Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending. This is the public hearing for the State of Connecticut 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan for Housing and Community Development in support of our 5-year consolidated plan for housing and community development. This public hearing is taking place Tuesday, April the 6th, 2021, a little after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My name is Michael Santoro. I'm the Director of Policy and Research for the Department of Housing, and our agency is responsible for administering 5 major federal block grant programs, which will be covered by this action plan, in which we will give you the opportunity to discuss today. The intent of the public hearing is this: we have published a draft plan as a result of public interaction, agency partner discussions, conversations with concerned parties throughout the previous year. That draft plan was published last Thursday for public comment and review. This public hearing is part of that public input process. We will continue to take written comments, I believe, through Friday, the 11th, if my math is right, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, what is Friday? 7, 8, 9. Friday's the 9th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're taking public comment through the 9th, or did we say Monday the 11th?
I think we said the 9th.
Okay, so by close of business, 5 o'clock on Friday the 9th, if we can get any written comments, in addition to anything that you would like to say today. I'm going to give a brief overview of the programs covered by the plan, the dollar amounts that will be covered by this plan, and then open it up to public comment. You will have, since there's very few people in attendance, we will not put a time limit on. You're free to speak. Again, if you have questions about the plan, about the programs in particular, please feel free to ask them during the public hearing process. If you have questions about the department, other activities and things we do, I ask that you hold those until after public hearing, but I will be happy to stay on and answer any other questions that you might have. Okay. We have another attendee, and thank you for coming. I will, again, after a brief introduction to the programs that are covered and the dollar amounts, I will offer you the opportunity to speak. I will ask that you raise your hand, then unmute yourself. And again, because there's limited attendance, there will not be a time limit, so feel free. So, again, as I talked about, I'm going to share my screen. We're here to talk about the State of Connecticut Department of Housing 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan for Housing and Community Development. The document on the left is a very brief description of the priorities and programs that are covered by this action plan. And we'll start at the top. Community Development Block Grant Small Cities. For those of you who don't know, the State of Connecticut is the recipient of CDBG funds specifically targeted to our small cities, those that are what are called non-entitlements. They're generally communities with populations under 50,000, although there are a couple that are right on the line that are also eligible as non-entitlements. For this coming year, we will focus our CDBG funds strictly on the state-sponsored housing portfolio development, i.e. preservation activities. We will not be accepting applications for homeowner rehab or public facilities. In addition, we have a significant amount of CDBG COVID funding that was allocated to the state as a result of the pandemic. Those funds, in excess of $30 million, continue to be available. And we will be limiting access to those funds for public service related activities. So any public service activities that would come in under the normal application process will be shuttered over to the use of CDBG COVID funds. Next, the National Housing Trust Fund, or NHTF. It is a program that produces affordable housing through new construction or substantial rehabilitation, targeted at extremely low-income families. That is, incomes not greater than 30% of the area median income, or very low income families, families with incomes not greater than 50% of the area median income. Pardon me. UH will use NHTF funds in combination with state bond funds, or commonly referred to as FLEX, or other federal programs like HOME, Federal Section 811 PRA program, as well as other funds that develop or rehabilitate extremely low income housing. Third program, the Home Investment Partnerships Program, again, is predominantly a production program, but can also do other related activities like housing stability counseling, limited tenant-based rental assistance, etc. We intend to target our home funds in the coming year in the production of affordable housing through new construction or rehabilitation, and we will do so only when units remain affordable for a minimum time period of 10 years or more. Fourth, the Emergency Solutions Grant, or ESG. We will continue to operate this program through the Coordinated Access System. That is our not-for-profit service providers that provide shelter beds, case management services, rapid rehousing services to homeless persons. We project that under ESG, we will target the use of those funds for emergency shelter operations, about 50%, housing management information system, about 4%, rapid rehousing, 41%, and admin of about 5%. Finally, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, or HOPWA. That program was recently integrated into the state's coordinated entry system, also known as Coordinated Access Network, or the CANS. The coordinated entry system will ensure that HOPWA assistance is provided to those living with HIV/AIDS, the highest vulnerability and risks to housing stability. All referrals for permanent housing funded through HOPWA will occur through the Coordinated Access Network system. I will now pop up a chart that lays out the numbers. When you look at the table in front of you, I'm going to blow it up a little so you can see a little better. There are two tables, table 1, table 2. Table 1 deals with, now 1 second. Start with line 1, the Home Investment Partnerships Program. We anticipate getting $9,692,243 in the next fiscal year, or for the next fiscal year beginning July 1st. In addition, we've been informed that there is an undisclosed amount of money coming under the American Rescue Plan, also being allocated to the state of Connecticut under HOME. We do not have numbers for what those dollars will be. Those dollars will be prioritized and targeted to address homelessness and the production of affordable housing associated with the homeless or imminently homeless. We will do a separate allocation plan when those funds become available. Next, row 2, the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program. We anticipate getting about $8,305,245 for CDBG Small Cities. And third, the National Housing Trust Fund, NHTF. This is a significant increase over last year. Last year, we got about $3.2 million. We were informed this morning, literally, that we can expect $8,448,637 to be allocated under the National Housing Trust Fund. The remainder of the chart are those programs that we, the state of Connecticut, use to leverage those federal dollars. They do similar or related activities to some of the federal programs that we just talked about. As you can see, we expect to get, for those 3 programs, about $26 million, which will be leveraged by about $144 million worth of federal money. Table 2, and Mr. Castro, I'll get to your question in just a second. Table 2, again, the top 2 rows are the relevant ones. Emergency Solutions Grant. You can see 3 columns, state, HUD, and SSBG. For ESG, we get a relatively small amount of money, but a little over $1 million, $1,079,625. That is leveraged with about $5.7 million in state funding and $6.5 million worth of other federal dollars under a social service block grant program that actually gets allocated to the Department of Social Services. And finally, HOPWA. We get about $271,000 of HOPWA that is supported by a little over $4 million worth of state funds to address the needs of persons who have AIDS. Question in the chat, Mr. Castro, if I can briefly explain how the needs that informed this plan were determined, and can I please share where the draft of the plan can be found? Absolutely. Draft of the plan can be found at the department's website, www.ct.gov/DOH, and I will actually call up a copy of the plan right now. You should be able to see it. That plan is easily accessed. It is currently available, and the needs for this plan were developed in consultation with our housing partners, housing advocates, legal aid, housing authorities, the not-for-profit community, for-profit developers, our municipal partners. The plan itself has a section called citizen participation, and I will go there very quickly, hopefully. Citizen participation details all of the actions, and I apologize for the scrolling. Citizen participation breaks down all the activity that we undertook to actually collect input prior to the creation of the plan. It can be found, as you can see here, beginning on page 4 of that draft plan. And this public hearing is the culmination, along with any written public comment, of that plan. Please be aware, any written comment that we receive as a result of today's public hearing will be included in the plan that gets submitted to HUD for their consideration. In addition, any specific comments or concerns that are raised will be responded to in the plan. For me, that is it. I am going to stop sharing. If I can figure out how. There we go. And open the floor up to questions or public comment. Again, this is intended to be a public hearing. We want your input into what our plans are. We are looking for both agreement, disagreement, comments, or questions associated with the plan. I see Mr. Adams has your hand up. So Mr. Adams, you are up. Please unmute yourself and go to town.
Super, thank you. Just a quick question. The NHTF funds, Affordable Housing Trust Funds, and the home money, would those be made available for 9% and 4% low-income housing deals?
They can leverage both the 9% and 4% federal low-income housing tax credits, but not necessarily. That is, they're not limited to use with the 9 or the 4% tax credits. They could be independently used as funding sources or in conjunction with other state and federal dollars. So those are applications for those funds are accepted as part of both the development engagement process, which is detailed on the department's website, as well as on an independent and individual rolling basis. So if you have a project where you're using conventional financing or financing from another state, federal, or local program, and you need some gap funding, either for home or NHTF, can and should reach out to the department for an application and how to access those funds.
Super. Would I start with you?
No, actually, it would. Your best bet is go to the website for the development engagement process.
Okay.
Or look at the program descriptions for each of those two programs. There's an individual staff contact for each of those two programs. Home, for the home program, I believe it is Karen Santana. And for the National Housing Trust Fund, I believe it is Sarah Simonelli.
Great. Super. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Either Ms. Harkin or Mr. Castro, comments or questions about the plan? I'm going to take silence as that you have no comment or questions. Again, We are taking written comments between now and the close of business on Friday the 9th. That's, for lack of better terminology, 5 o'clock on Friday. If it comes in at a little after 5, no big deal. As a matter of fact, if it comes in prior to Monday morning, we will accept it and respond to it in the plan. The formal comment period ends, close of business on Friday. With regard to the plan itself, last shot, last call, questions, comments, or concerns about the state's 2021-2022 action plan for housing and community development. Oh, I see a comment in the chat. Not on my end. Oh, very good. Thank you very much. All right. At that point, then I will declare this public hearing closed. I want to thank you for your attendance. And Laura, you can stop recording.